Describe your perfect date.
It's a tough one.
The perfect date, right, is to meet up in like a chill situation, like a park or a beach, go for a walk, smoke, chat, get to know this person on like, you know, the most basic level, like, you know, do you hate women?
My perfect date would probably start like in the morning. We go out to brunch or something, grab drinks, just kind of like started off sort of playful and casual. After that, just kind of like walking around the city, enjoying each other's company, and kind of just like ending the night with whatever. Maybe we go out to dinner, maybe it's just like something casual, grab a slice.
My perfect date looks like maybe a tea party, like something cute, you know what I mean? Like I don't mind if it's crafty, you know what I mean? Like you can set a table in the woods somewhere. I mean, not the woods. On a meadow somewhere with the fucking pink silk tablecloth, little cute thing in the middle. I don't like flowers, so like I'm like a spliffy or something. That would be cute, like in the middle with tea.
I really like nature and stuff like that, so hiking, anything outdoors, or like maybe painting with a twist, you know, a little wine.
It'll be an all day thing. We gotta spend, I'm clingy, we need to be together all day. So we're gonna wake up, we're gonna eat breakfast, we're gonna have a shower, maybe we'll have sex in between all of this, right? And then we'll head out, maybe do a lunch, picnic, beach vibe, something like that, something out in nature. I love trees, I love being connected and just talking about our day, just being open, laughing, and having fun with each other. And then being able to go home together, you know, not just ending it there and then trying to repeat it the next day.
I don't have to do much. I can just be hanging out with the person, have food, and some type of entertainment. And entertainment can be anything. For me, a movie is really simple.
It can be a movie. I feel like you can't go on your first date and sit in a movie and not talk to somebody. Like if it's like in an arcade where you could get to know each other and play games with each other, and then like somewhere to eat, going to the beach, going on a hike, like something adventurous. Like I could get to know the person.
I really like the idea of going like bowling and then maybe like dinner afterwards or vice versa. But just to get to the competitive and like playful side out of us, I really hate just doing dinner. I think it's really boring and I don't like talking while I'm eating. I like dinner, but it can't just be
Dinner, dates, when you're trying to get someone to do activities that they don't like to do, or you're kind of like dragging the person along. Yeah, for me, I think it's like when someone's trying to do like mini golfing or like active dates, I kind of like to sit down and have a chat with the person. You should be somewhat like kind of dressed up, you know, like a good dinner date I think is a good opportunity to have like a good conversation with the person.
I don't like doing too much movement on a first date, so I think just a nice dinner and he's just making sure everything is taken care of and it's a good time.
You can gauge a lot by a person or of a person by how interested they are, even if it's not something they're interested in necessarily, like the museum or the exhibit, that they're still just curious and they don't act like they're bored. Afterwards, getting coffee or a drink. Oh, we had coffee, we had a drink. Do you want to get dinner too? And then it just continues.
See, I'm very simple. I'm very, very, very simple. Like I could do like a nice walk, quick bite to eat, conversation. If you don't know how to talk right, don't talk to me. And talk to me nice as well. Honestly, perfect date is being able to enjoy a presence together. Like, I don't really care about the bougie restaurants and what drink do you drink. Like, bitch, if you want to bust down 20 mojitos, go ahead, get drunk. But just don't not be yourself.
You know what? For me, the first thing that popped into my head were singing bowls. Sitting like this.
some singing bowls around and just going, that's the perfect date for me. That's it. That's it. We won't get no food. I want to see what you've been doing for the past 2 weeks.
It's tough because I feel like there's a bunch of different like date scenarios that might go through my mind, but really it's just like cooling, you know what I mean? Like spending your day like just like in leisure. Dates don't even have to be with like your like romantic partner. It could be like with your friends. It's like spending the time like going for walks, just like, you know, chilling. Whether that ends up like with you guys like cooking food, like making dinner together, like seeing like, you know, watching the stars or something like that. You know, it's having conversations that are intentional throughout the entire day and just like experiencing like joy with each other and not having that pressure of doing stuff.
I need the plans for us, like be ready at 7 p.m., dress up or whatever like that. That's what I'm talking about. You feel me? I'm not letting no nigga pick me up just because safety. You feel me? But if I trust you, of course. But at the end of the day, I'll meet you there. You know what I'm saying? If I touch a door, even one door that night, I'm not seeing you for a second time. And that's just facts. As a woman, I should never have to lift a finger to touch a door. Respectfully, I shouldn't.
Next on the need to know. First of all, I need to know where you stand when it comes to sexism, racism, transphobia. I just need to know. Like I'm at a point in my life where like if we're on different pages, I just can't.
I have to know your last name immediately. First date, I have to know your last name. So we're gonna talk a little more about your family type shit, sex, because we're not kids. Like, what's tea?
I don't know, for me, I'm very much interested in like learning about people's experiences. So I'd be like, yo, if you had like a negative experience with the police, like what was it like growing up? Like, you know what I mean? Like as far as like your siblings, did you like have any like cousins that you hated or anything like that? Stuff like that, because I think it's interesting. It's just like, yo, like you're a complete person. You're not just like, you know, oh, like, am I attracted to you? Are you funny? Are you like whatever? It's like, yo, like, what's your life like? You know what I mean? Like, what are you actually doing?
Interests. Like what you're into. Like what kind of music do you like? Or what's your favorite food? You know, just like the basics. Like let's see if we have like, you know, a foundation of interests that we have in common.
I feel like on the first date you should keep it light, like just getting to know each other, your likes, your dislikes. Maybe values is a good thing to go over.
You got kids. If you have kids, and it's one thing if you have kids and you are trying to hide your kids. That's a red flag. I feel like. And if you got like an STD or something like that, something life-changing, something that's gonna change my life.
Are you single? Are you actually single? My therapist, God bless her, but she was like, I don't understand why you don't ask the hard questions up front. I was like, I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. And she was like, Asha, do you know how crazy that is? That you'll sit there and you'll go through so much time with the person before you get to know some things, like some serious things about them. What are you looking for type thing. Because I think that's important. Like, I think it's important that everybody, like, I'm very much like, I value transparency. And I'm very much of the opinion that you should allow people to make whatever decision truly fits them and suits them. So if you're not looking for something, you need to let somebody know that up front.
Don't hold back. Like, I don't care if you're like, oh, I don't want anything serious, but like, you need to let your intentions be known.
Just keep it very light. I don't like getting super intense right off of the bat. I think you learn the most just from not really asking questions, but sitting back and just observing who they are. You know, do their actions actually align with who they're saying that they are as a person?
I'm a Christian, so I like to, you know, just get that out the way first off, because, you know, you want to be on one accord with somebody. So if y'all don't have the same views spiritually, there's really not going to be a good connection. You know, you want to be equally yoked with somebody. So I like to, you know, talk about that. I don't really care about how many kids you want, but I mean, most people ask about that, so I guess.
If not the most important thing, I care about your views on politics, on Black life, Black love, Black people as a whole. Like, I just want to know how you feel about that, because all kinfolk ain't skinfolk, and that's a fact. So I would just want to know where your mind is on that.
I say your love languages of how you receive love and how you give love. I think that's very important. And I don't think that that's like too big of a question to ask, because I would like to know if we would be compatible in the way that we give and receive love. For instance, like if your number 1 is gift giving and my number 5 is gift giving, it's not going to work, because I'm not thinking about that.
I get it. It's the first date. You don't know the person. But don't make it feel like an interview. Oh, who you are, what's in your pockets, where your family from. Nah, just talk about like the corny shit you're into. Like, get to know the personality first. Then by date 2, that's when you can really dive into the portfolio.
I'm looking for more long term. And again, I don't want to waste no time. So the first date questions would be if you want kids, like where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you like to do? What's your hobbies? What motivates you? And what's your sign? What is your sign?
I was just with somebody and they, like, we were together, like, at my crib, and they just said some crazy shit to me. It was just like, to me, it just caught me off guard, and I was just like, why would your head even exist in those places? You know what I mean? And from there, I was just like, yeah, nigga, you gotta go. I told that nigga leave, and this nigga's crazy. Even though I told him leave, he wouldn't leave. Like, he would not leave my crib physically. Like, he stayed outside of my crib, and like he did like a 21st century version of like the holding the what's it called, the boombox or whatever, like outside the crib. So the car that he's in can connect to like my TV. I don't know how. It's just like I don't know if it's Roku. I have Roku. It just can connect to this. You feel me? The TV. And literally like he was playing music from his like car, like, and the song, like he was playing songs that all said like call me, blah blah blah, like shit like that. Just like basically like call my fucking phone, like, because I blocked him on everything because it was just like, you're wilding, like leave. You know what I'm saying? So he was just out here just playing mad tracks just to get me to like call him back and shit. I did not call him back, and I left it at that. It was kind of slow. Once you disrespect me like that, it's just kind of like, I can't fuck with you. You gots to go. Oh, no bullshit.
Keep it to yourself.
Keep that to yourself. Please just keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself. Just keep it to yourself, darling.
How nice. Do keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself.
Just keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself.
Just keep it to yourself, darling.
I don't want to hear about your exes on a first date. That's the only thing. I will literally listen to anything else except somebody going on and on about their
exes. I swear my biggest pet peeve is when I'm getting to know somebody and they won't stop talking about their ex. And I understand opening up about like certain things, like let's get to know each other's traumas and like how we can communicate, do better with each other. But when you're consistently bringing them up, it's like, you don't want to move on from your ex. You're not ready to move on from your ex, and that's okay. But I'm not gonna stick around to see when you actually go back.
Like, I'm all about sharing. Like, I think that's beautiful. I think when someone feels comfortable enough to share something with me, that's really beautiful. But you talking about your exes on the first date, like, especially if I did not ask, why? Are you not over them? What's going on? Especially if you're trashing them. Like, when somebody trashes someone, I just, like, a trash is an ex. I think that's a huge red flag for me. How much money you make, I feel like that's like a second or third. But like, yeah, those two would be like, ooh.
Don't tell me why you guys broke up. I don't want to know, because then I'm going to be like, red flag. I don't want to talk to you, and maybe you're a good person. And because you told me about your ex and what you guys used to do, now I'm like, I don't want to fuck with you.
Only sometimes. I think bringing up exes is just like, well, this is the first date, let me get to know you, aside from maybe your
past or like anything anything bad about other people, you shouldn't bring that up. Try to keep it light on the first date.
Yeah, dude, I feel like a lot of times like dudes will want to talk about like bodies, like how many sexual partners someone has.
Don't do that. Oh no, we won't do that.
they'll talk about like someone's like sexual identity. To me, I don't really support that on like a first date, because I feel like if the person's on like a romantic date with you already, it's like you kind of already know that they're feeling you, so like their sexual orientation doesn't really matter. To me, those types of questions are like off limits on a first date. It doesn't mean that they can't come up, but I wouldn't ask them. You know what I mean?
Anything about sex should not be brought up on the first date. I don't want to talk about it. It's disgusting.
I hate small talk. I absolutely despise it. So I prefer to like trauma bond as soon as possible, and then just get really in-depth conversations. I mean, like, don't tell me that you're a serial killer. I don't know. I like it a little questionable. I love questionable conversations. So I'm an open book. I don't think there's anything that anybody could say that I'd be like, no.
I can tell you in our first conversation sometimes with someone if I want to get married with you, or if I even see that potentiality. I'm not going to say it because I understand it scares people.
I don't think you should bring up like marriage or kids. You can bring them on the second date, but I feel like you should get to know a person before you're like, oh, they don't want kids. Okay, I don't want to be with them, because maybe they're just like childish, or they've never met someone that would make them want kids or something. Vice versa with anything.
If I have one more bad day.
I've had a lot of bad dates. Conversation's not good. If you're not interesting, just weird. The vibe is just not checking out.
If the first date you take me on is a coffee date, I'm not even going, but if I did go, because I was like, maybe, I'm probably not seeing you again. I just think it's like low effort. I really hate low effort dates. We can do that once we're like getting to know each other like more, like third date, like coffee, like walk. Don't like coffee or walk dates.
I was getting taken out to Dave & Buster's a lot, and I was like, this is so bad. Like, it's the only place that people can talk. Take people is Dave & Buster's.
I don't know. I feel like somebody that talk too much. Yeah, somebody that talk too much. I feel like on a date, depending on who asked who out first, that person should kind of have the floor a little bit. But yeah, somebody that talk too much and something that's not stimulating, but somebody that talk too much. I like quiet. Quiet date.
When they just come on too strong, too fast. Let's say you just started like speaking, getting to know each other, and then they're like trying to go back to your crib or asking you to come over, just initiating shit that you're not really ready for, or just making moves like, okay, so you thought you were gonna take me out and just get the fuck. But I mean, you know, that's just me. I don't know. Sometimes people like to fuck on the first date. Sometimes they don't. Different strokes, different folks.
So a bad date is like rushing, like talking about some one drink. We ordered one drink with burnt ass fries. Like that's a bad date. And then when I try to say something about the fries, niggas telling me, oh, we don't want to do too much. Nigga, you don't want to do too much.
So a bad date for me would be one, like the day of somebody not checking in, them being late. Like, okay, I'll give you a 5-minute buffer, you know, 10 minutes, okay? But for me, I think people not respecting your time is so indicative of something about their personality. Me deciding to meet up with you for this date, I have to clear my schedule. I have to rearrange my schedule. So it's important that somebody values that and isn't late. My God, and being on their phone wherever we are. Dear Jesus, I just don't understand.
Being around somebody and finding out that they're not actually a good match, like it's not a good vibe. He's annoying. It's just if his personality is not a match, because I usually don't even go out with people. You know what I mean? If I don't like what we're supposed to be doing.
It's more like a bad experience. I'm not even gonna lie. If the date's bad, I'm not paying for the bill. Like, we're gonna split this shit because I don't want to be here. And we're just gonna have to make it worse, because that's probably gonna be a problem. And you can just feel like people trying too hard, and that's just bad. That's just bad. Especially when you just really just looking at the person like, this is not it. This is not it. That's bad.
That date would probably be where I have to pay. If it's a guy, because I have double standards. If it's a girl, I'll try to pay her 50-50, but if it's a guy, I expect you to pay. And if you can't pay, you're just sitting here like, wow, I'm gonna be real sad. That's gonna be a bad date for me, because I'm gonna look at you like, I'm not paying this. You better go pull up your sleeves and wash the dishes on some Kanye shit.
What would make me walk out and what has made me walk out was being catfished. Or like, I wish I walked out. I think that's the only thing, that and like being cheap will make me just be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm leaving. Or if they're just like on their phone all the time, I will definitely walk out if someone's just on their phone the whole time.
Or if they made like any weird misogyny jokes, or if they were like, oh, and the lady will have this, but like didn't ask me first. It's fine if they do that, if they ask me, but if they're like ordering for me, that's crazy. If they didn't ask me any questions, I would leave. I am very pro leaving in the middle of the day.
Somebody rude. You have the opportunity to change that person's life. So if you interact with them, I feel like if you're negative about it or if you're rude about it, especially if it's excessive, I'll walk out. Never to return again. And I won't think twice about it. I won't even take myself out after that.
I think being rude to the server, if someone was rude to the server, if someone was just like not a polite person, or you know, they just did something outrageous, like I would walk out of the date.
There was one time, however, I was on a date, we went to dinner, and he was being really rude to our waitress, and he went to the bathroom, and I called our waitress over, I paid for the meal, left her a fat tip, and left.
If we're sitting at the table on the first date, if it comes to a point where I hear something I don't like, I could be mature and wait it out and blah, blah, blah. But if it's really to the extent of like, this really does not align with my values, my morals, I will get up and leave, because there's no reason why I should waste my time there.
I done been on some dates where it's like you're just sitting there, it'd be boring, conversation is stale, food's not bussin', like everything around me is not bussin'. I'll still just sit there and just be like, yeah, I'm here. If I like order, if it's like date over like food or whatever, and I had food, and then like they took food off my plate, and then like they didn't like it, and they like spit it out, and like put it back on the plate. Something gross, like it had to be something like extreme, where I'm like, yeah, I'm not rocking with that though.
A guy is like being negative or like very insulting to my character or anything, like if he's an asshole, I'm out.
If I find out you're an atheist, I'm gone. I'm gone. No questions asked. No explanation, like I'm folding the menu and leaving.
Am I an asshole when I don't feel empathy or sympathy for other people's problems? I don't know, like I have a lot of friends who like, not a lot of friends, but I have like a few people who come to me not with the same problem, but generally the same problem, and they will just start like venting to me, and I'd be like, yeah, that's good, and like I don't feel any type of emotion towards them. Like I'm just like, all right, good, like you vented, you don't need me to give you advice, like get off my phone, get out my car, like leave me alone, like type of thing. Like I don't know, I just feel like I've been, either I disassociate with myself or just people in general, or like I just put up a guard and I can't feel that emotion. I can't feel, if somebody dies for somebody, yes, sure.
So you know how like when you're a kid, like you like play like make believe or whatever, you got your like play set, you got like, you playing with like your action figures, whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm going to work, da da da. Like you're like, it's like you kind of fantasize about being an adult because you don't know what that really like feels like. You know what it looks like, but you don't know what it feels like. But then like you get older and like you get your job, you get like, you know, that paycheck, and you're like, nice, you feel me? You know your salary, but then you see them taxes get taken out, and then you gotta pay your bills. You know, I'm talking your light, your rent, your phone bill, utilities all across the board. You gotta pay for groceries. And then you look at what your account looked like before and what it looked like after you just did all that. And you still you didn't lose all hope. A little faith is gone. Then you start standing in different corners of your apartment because you're like, I paid for this, so I gotta be here. I gotta be over here. You start missing out on parties because you're like, nah, bro, I ain't pay rent for no reason.
That's our Bible.